welcome once again to the podcast and YouTube channel of Jaden Zander. Tonight on The Midnight Man with Jaden Zander, 3 ghost stories will be featured for the very last episode of Season 2. So without further ado, let us now welcome the host, Jaden.
Well, a very good evening and once again welcome to The Midnight Man with Jaden Zander. I'm Jaden and, well, as you know, this is Season 2, Episode 8, the last episode for this season. And I will be taking a break next week and, well, I'm not sure as to whether I'll be coming back with Season 3, but just keep a lookout. Alright, tonight, of course, I'm going to feature 2 more stories, but I'm going to give you a bonus of 1 more, so that, well, at least to close off Season 2. Well, all these stories happen in Police K9, and, well, without further ado, let us go to first story. The first story happened during one of the night shift. I was on duty, and this particular night shift, there is this particular officer, okay, a female officer actually, who stayed back quite late actually to finish off her work, and her office is on the other side of Police K9 actually, and she came back to the main building as her locker room. A female locker room actually is on the 2nd level of the main building. So on this particular night, after she finished her work, she came over to the main building, went up to the 2nd level, and to get to her locker room, which is at the other end of the main building. Okay, and she needs to walk. She needs to walk this long corridor to get to her locker. So after she finished, once she finished changing and all, she came down to the 1st level where I was, where the duty office were. Okay, and I met up with her. I chatted with her a while, and after that, and she made her way out of the main door of the main building. But after a while, she came back. Okay, she came back. Well, I asked her, so why is she back? She said that she forgot to take something from her locker, and she went up again to the 2nd level. And like I've said before, she needs to walk down this long corridor to get to her locker, which is at the other end of this 2nd level corridor. And she needs to pass by a lot of office, okay, our trainer office, the admin office, our CEO office, just to get to her locker room, the female locker room actually. And before she can actually get through the corridor, she needs to get through this glass door. So she did. She went through the glass door, but before she could actually made even halfway through the corridor, this is what she saw. Alright, she saw this white apparition, alright, coming out from her locker room and coming towards her. But this white apparition went into the CO's office. This incident shocked her very, very much. Okay, just to give you a clearer picture, the entire corridor was dark. Okay, because normally during the night shift, we will always turn off lights where there are no officers around, just to save on electricity. So yes, this corridor was dark, and she saw this apparition coming up from her locker room, the female locker room, moving towards her, and after that went into our CO's office. She was shocked, she was scared, she quickly made her way down again. And I did ask her as to, hey, how come she came down like so fast? And she said that it's okay, tomorrow morning then she will get whatever she needs to get from her locker. I did not know her story actually until the morning when I met up with her again, when she came back for her duty. And I asked her, and she told me what happened when she encountered that white apparition coming out from the female locker room. That is the first story for tonight, and like I've mentioned in previous stories, that there are quite a bit of horror in Police K9 Choa Chu Kang base. Alright, and that is one of the horror stories, and well, I do hope that it is not, the place is not as scary as before, but yeah, who knows. Well, with that, let us go to story number 2. The second story happened to one of Police K9's NS boy, and well, this particular boy and his team, they were working the morning shift, and my team took over their team, and I was working the night shift. So what happened was, this particular night, after we have taken over the morning shift's team, we were going on with our daily duty and of handing over. So this particular NS boy, he was doing his normal filing duties and all, and it took him quite a bit of time together with his team. So after they have completed their duty for the day, completed their filings and everything, they went over to the locker room, which is on the other side, which is on the west wing, where our locker room are at. And that particular locker room also, there were a lot, there were stories, and I've already mentioned it in previous episodes with regards to those locker rooms in the other building. Well, okay, this particular boy, the team, they were changing and everything, and his teammate left first because he was taking quite a bit of time to change. So they left him alone, and well, he took his time, change, and he left the locker room eventually. But he did not go through that particular west wing, the building. He decided to walk by the side door. So he went out the side door, and he was walking under this sheltered walkway towards the main building. And that area, actually, that sheltered area, it was not that well lit, and the only lights helping to shine the area were from the road, those street lamps. And so he was walking towards, like what I've said, the main building. And to his right, there are these few aircon condensers. So this is what he saw. He saw while walking towards the main building that between these aircon condensers, there was this girl standing there looking at him. And he knew that there were no female officers working that night because my team, there were no female officers. All of us, were male. So it took him by surprise. It shocked him. He was scared because he knew that girl is not a human being, and he knew about what happened in K9 and the horror stories attached to that base. So what he did was he ran all the way to the main gate, to the main building actually, and went over to the duty office where I was at. So I saw him. He was like he was like crying. His eyes were really welled up, and he was like crying. And he said that he needs to go. He needs to go. And I asked him what happened. He said that he did not want to talk about it, and just to open the gate so that he can leave as soon as possible. So we did that, okay, and he ran. He did not walk, mind you. He ran all the way out the main gate. And I asked one of his friends to message him and ask him what happened. So while they were doing that, I took the torchlight and went over to check the West Wing area as to whether there's anything that is out of the norm. So I went there with my torchlight, searched the area. Nothing. I see nothing, obviously. So I went back to the duty office and asked my boys whether he replied, and they said he did. And this is his story. I mean, he saw this girl, and he knew that this girl is not a human being, and he was scared. That was why he ran, crying, right? And what I also know is that he fell sick. Okay, he was down with high fever for a couple of days, and and that is the second horror story for tonight. And that is the second story, and that what that boy saw. I took pity for the boy, actually, what he saw and all. And I know that particular stretch of sheltered walkway, when it's dark at night, it's pretty creepy, actually. That is his luck, anyway. So yeah. So right now I'm gonna go to the bonus story, and this bonus story, you have to keep an open mind, this is what I saw, and this is not only what I saw. Two other officers saw this thing together with me, and the story goes like this. This incident happened after my night shift, actually, because that particular night I was working the night shift, and our shift starts at 8 all the way to 8 p.m. to all the way to 8 a.m. the next morning. So normally during at around 7 a.m. We have to raise the Singapore flag and the police flag, and that was what I did on that particular day. I was the duty officer for that night and for that shift, and at around 7:05 like that, me and two other officers, we were tasked to raise the flag, and so we did. What we did was we have to march from the main building, the foyer, all the way down to the flagpole to raise the flags. So we did. We fall in, and we march all the way to the flagpole, and not even halfway towards marching towards the flagpole, I was looking up. I look up because I saw that there's this thing that is shining. It was shining quite brightly. And that particular morning, the sky, it was blue. The blue was blue because there were no clouds. So I was looking up while marching. I looked up and I saw this cylindrical thing, this cylindrical vessel. Okay, and it was moving kind of fast, not your typical aeroplane. The thing that shocked me, took me by surprise, was that this particular cylindrical vessel has got no wings. Okay, not really not your typical aeroplane. And I don't think that is a blimp or an airship, because it doesn't look like an airship. It looks as if it's made of metal. It's shining as the sun was coming up, and it's you can see the reflection of the sun being shined by this metallic thing. It's moving kind of like fast through the sky, and it's also too big to be a typical aeroplane. And so while watching, I saw this thing. So I told my two other officers in front to look up to see this thing flying, as to whether they saw the same thing. So these two officers looked up, and they were like, huh, yeah. I was like, hey, you saw this thing, right? They was telling me that, yeah, this thing, they are looking at this thing, and this thing is like flying. And they were kind of like surprised also, like in their voice. Can actually hear the surprise in their voice. So we proceeded to raise the flags and everything, and we marched back to the foyer. And once we fall out from raising the flag, we kind of like made our way out onto the street to see as to whether we can really see this thing, whether it's still around. But it is no longer there. So what we were talking about it after that, and we kind of like realized that this cylindrical thing is too big to be an aeroplane, and plus there's no wings attached to it. It was moving relatively fast, faster than a conventional aeroplane, and it is not even an airship, because it really doesn't look like an airship. So so we kind of like came into a conclusion that might be a UFO, right? Okay. Once again, this particular story, you have to keep an open mind as to whether you believe or not. But then again, I did not see it all alone by myself, because two other officers experienced it right there at Police K9 Unit. And that is it. We have come to the end of Season 2, Episode 8 of The Midnight Man with Jaden Zander. I would like to thank all of you for staying with me through Season 1 and Season 2. And, do come back and see as to whether we will be coming back. Me and the voice will be coming back for Season 3. I would also like to thank my listeners who have contributed their stories to me. Thank you so very much. And of course, keep those stories coming in. Who knows, maybe I will feature them in future episodes. Till then, you take care. All right, take care, be good, stay safe, follow the SOP, and hopefully I will see you again in the near future. Thank you very much, and good night.
And with that, this is The Voice. Till we meet again, I am Go.